Ladies and gentlemen, meine Damen und Herren, welcome back to our fifth match of the day, which will be Germany against Northern Ireland. Here for you, the referees, the center referee, Monsieur Remy Simon, the assistant referee, Niels Christian Simonsen, the second assistant referee, Mika Walsten, and the fourth official, Nordin Sobowitz. And the teams for Germany, number 8, the captain, Marco Rollmann. Number 2, Luise Mittag. Number 7, Felicitas Fischer. Number 9, Efekan Onamnes. Number 11, Thies Ottenstetter. Number 14, Acacio Cossa. Number 20, Ludwig Leinweber. Number 55, Daniel Oleg. And the head coach, Nuri Onamnes. His assistants, Kai Rollmann, Arnold Leinweber, Thomas Mittag, and the team manager, Jörg Diehl. And for Northern Ireland, with the number 8, the captain, Scott Ireland. Number 2, Bartek Kurzowski. Number 9, Patrick Kuminski. Number 12, Sean McKinney. Number 14, Ethan McCabe. Number 20, Ruben Walls. Number 28, Kyle Forster. And the head coach, Michael Hilland, and his assistants, David Kuzomski and Marina Lupari. All right, everyone. I'm going to head over to the guys at the stream, Greg and Ryan. Thanks so much. Have fun.
And so we move into the penultimate game of the day here in Lignano Sabbiadoro at the 2025 EPFA Nations Cup. Germany taking on Northern Ireland in Group A. My name is Ryan Sippel and joined by Greg Baxter. We'll run you through all the action live in what has been an incredible day, and we have so much football left to be played. For Germany, this is another opportunity to settle into their first ever major international competition. They came into the Nations Cup through the EPFA Cup in Geneva back in 2022, where they finished third, but their opener against Belgium was a tough one. A 2-0 defeat, both goals the result of unfortunate own goals. There were glimpses of what they could do, spells of controlled possession and some real precision from dead ball situations, but they'll know they'll need to sharpen up in the final third to avoid those costly 2-on-1 infringements. For Northern Ireland, it's about building on the positives from their first game. They may have lost 5-1 to France, but for a long time they frustrated the world champions with disciplined defending and real organisation. They even had their moment of joy through Bartek Kuszkowski, whose opportunistic strike punished France, who made a rare mistake. In the end, France's quality shone through, but Northern Ireland showed heart, spirit and flashes of belief that they can cause problems. With a young squad stepping up for the first time at this level, that experience they have will be invaluable. This is what makes today's contest so intriguing. Both sides still looking for their first points, both eager to prove themselves, and both know that a win here could completely transform their outlook in Group A. For Germany, it's about showing that the lessons of Game 1 have been learned. More bravery in possession, more fluency in attack, and rediscovering their defensive stability. For Northern Ireland, it's about maintaining that discipline, being patient and capitalising when those opportunities arise. The officials for this one, led by Remy Simon of France, with Niels Christensen Simonsen of Denmark, Mika Walsten of Finland, and the fourth official is Nordin Subovic.
Really contrasting needs coming into this game. Like you say, Northern Ireland have that defensive stability. They showed that, especially in the first half against France last night. Just need to show now what they can do going forward in a game that they should perhaps dominate possession. Whereas for Germany, they need to show that defensive stability. Too many, as you say, costly 2-on-1s. Their lack of discipline in that regard really was their downfall. I'm intrigued to see if they make any tactical tweaks, the Germans, given this is their second game of the day, and how that in itself will affect them. Playing 2 games in one day, one right at the beginning of the day, one in the late afternoon. It really is fascinating, and like you say, we've now had every single team play at least one game. This is where it starts to get crucial. You go 2 games in, without a point, you start to feel the pressure, you start to get nervous, and that's when mistakes can creep in. You do not want to have that 0 next to your name after 2 games.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I wonder if it's seen as a blessing or a curse to play 2 games in one day, because on the plus side, you could use it as a chance to be really sharp in the second, an opportunity to find a rhythm and a flow. But on the flip side, it could lend itself to fatigue, tiredness. But fortunately for Germany, they were up first thing this morning against Belgium, so they've had a good amount of time to rest and recuperate. But maintaining that alertness, that awareness and that concentration across the last 5 or 6 hours between games, surely a challenge.
Exactly. I think it helps if you come in, if you're playing 2 in one day. I think it helps if you come into it on the back of a win in your first game. That momentum, you feel good. Whereas if 2 in one day, if you lose both, you're really feeling down and on the back foot, and that can really just hurt your chances for the rest of the tournament. Like I said, their concentration has got to be up. They'll have been up early this morning to get ready for that first game. It's now near 25 past 4 local time. It's hot. The tiredness can creep in. So yeah, concentration. They're going to have to keep it. And we saw what they were like early in the morning with their 2-on-1 discipline. That is going to be even more difficult if they're tired or fatigued.
When you look at the bigger picture, the stakes are enormous. Had several Group B games today. England and Italy have already laid down markers with opening wins. Denmark sit on 3 points after 2 games, and Ireland and Scotland are still searching for a breakthrough. Every nation here knows how vital points are, not just in battle for the semi-finals, but in the race for those 5 coveted tickets to the World Cup in Argentina next year. So here we go. Germany's the newcomers, still searching for their spark against Northern Ireland. Young, spirited, and hungry to show they belong. Very last preparations. Whilst we wait for them to line up, I can go through the starting 4. Starting with Germany, adorning the goalkeeper jersey is captain Marco Roman. They have Luis Mittag, Akasio Kossa, and Ludwig Leinweber. And for Northern Ireland, Scott Hilland, the goalkeeper and captain. Ethan McCabe likely to feature in the centre, with impressive young wingers in Bartek Krzyzewski and Ruben Walls.
So, unsurprisingly unchanged for Northern Ireland. Perhaps unsurprisingly a couple of changes made for Germany, you'd say.
Yeah, based on that Belgian game, I really like the fact that Akasio Kossa is starting here. I thought he was one of Germany's brighter players in that defeat to Belgium, full of energy, confident on the ball and willing to get involved. He also seemed to establish a real good partnership with Marco Roman, who for me should really be playing in the centre. But that is what we saw in that first game. He wears the goalkeeper jersey, but he has the comfort and familiarity of Akasio Kossa. behind him. When Roman shifted inside later in that game, Germany did look more assured and balanced. And that's an adjustment I'd love to see from the start here today. With Kossa's mobility alongside Roman's experience, there's the potential for Germany to look far more dangerous. And yes, as you've already said, the tried and tested 4 of Northern Ireland, it was so good against France. And I think you'll need the full group stage to be complete to realise that that scoreline is probably very good for Northern Ireland. Whilst it was 5-1, it was a fairly comprehensive defeat, I think they're going to give them their best game, their most competitive game of the group stage.
It'll be interesting to see if Northern Ireland persist with such a defensive shape in this game, bearing in mind this could be a game they look to dominate. Whether they choose to still go with 2 in the box, 2 on the edge of the box and hit Germany on the counter-attack, or whether they try and be more expansive, be more open, be more aggressive and play in the way that as favourites they perhaps maybe are expected to?
I think the latter. I think they are going to come out the traps flying. Ethan McCabe has a really big responsibility on his hands playing in that central position, just connecting the play with those wingers who proved a real nuisance for France. And with all due respect to Germany, they're on a whole different level, France. So there will be opportunities to exploit, but as I hoped, Roman is in the centre, but unfamiliarly from that of the Belgian game, it is Louise Mittag in goal, not Acacio Cossa. But so they're really thinking about what works, and I like this. Acacio Cossa is a brilliant player. If they've got someone who's comfortable being the most defensive of the 4, I'm all here for it. As we are underway, Marco Roman splits it up the court.
It's not often you see a kick-off these days, hit straight up the court. Most of the time teams look to play straight away, passing it to the side.
Ethan McCabe into Ludwig Leinweber. Ruben Walsh has to be aware of the advancement of McCabe, constantly moving to allow his number 14 teammate space, and straight away on the front foot with some valuable territory in the Germany half. Marco Roman just flicks it out for a corner ball.
Early opportunity here for Northern Ireland.
Keep an eye on Bartek Kuszkowski at the back post. Ethan McCabe potentially as the screen. Doesn't amount to much. I would have liked to have seen that screen be utilised there. I don't think Ruben Walls was quite anticipating that ball coming back to him, but the connection and timing shown already from Walls.
You say that, but he really didn't hit the corner with that much pace. So whether their plan was to front bumper it back and 180 it across, because there was we know Ruben Walls can generate a lot of power, as you see there, as the shot goes just past that near post. And the corner was real, unless he just mishit it. It might have been planned.
Goal kick from Marco Roman. All the way down. Ruben Walls happy to let that roll down to Ethan McCabe. Engaged by Acacio Cossa. Very open this game. Certainly in comparison to the game we've just finished between Denmark and Republic of Ireland, where it was so condensed, whether that be in the Denmark half or the Ireland half already. This is so expansive, which hopefully lends itself to a really exciting attacking game of football. An opportunity via this set piece. Ethan McCabe to take. Keep an eye on Kuszkowski, maybe via Ruben Walls. And he squeezed the ball through. The nod of approval from Ruben Walls, exhibiting the confidence we've come to know and love. Less than 3 minutes in, Germany 0, Northern Ireland 1.
It's a clinical finish from Ruben Walls. Just cuts it through that gap. Really nice play. Great ball from Ethan McCabe. Perfectly weighted behind him. And the nod of approval. He knew that was good. He's given his side the lead. That's that bit of character we know and love about Ruben Walls.
Absolutely it is. Even I suspected he would go over to Kushkovsky, who was unopposed on the right-hand post. Just having that little bit of unpredictability about you proves a real trouble and nuisance for the German defence to deal with. But they're in the driving seat here. And as I suspected, I think it's going to be a really good attacking performance from Northern Ireland, who are looking to right that wrong of defeat in their opener.
Smart play by Ruben Walls. Drove it out wide, used the space. Won the kick in, which he will take down the line to Kushkovsky.
Contact there from Casio Kossa. Needs to be careful. Most definitely a contact foul, which will present Northern Ireland with yet another opportunity. Just assessing the shape. I would suspect the only target here is that of Ruben Walls. He will constantly assess the situation. If there is a gap between Mittag and Roman, he will capitalise. Likewise between Leinweber and Roman. Over to Bartek Kushkovsky. Reads the game so well and has the reaction time to capitalise depending on what the German defence do.
Nearly finding a gap there. Good defending by Mittag. Just going to go back to McCabe. Takes a touch. Would have liked to have seen that maybe played first time. Back down the line to Ruben Walls. Driving at that Germany box now. Dispossessed by Leinweber, who cuts inside Ruben Walls. The two number 20s.
Been heavily involved in the opening 5.5 minutes. Has Ruben Walls an opportunity to force it into the box of Germany here. And he wraps his chair around it, sensibly lets it go out of play. It's actually stayed in. It's actually brilliant work from Marco Roman to win his country a kick in. But the important question, the dilemma is how do they break the press? You're seeing Kushkovsky and Walls surround the attacking options and immediately engage. That's where Belgium had success earlier today. Those initial kick-ins and goal kicks, not having enough power and precision to bypass the first player, instigating the press. Looks as if 3 in the box is the decision. Northern Ireland have just really penned Germany back, and they have very few answers to this dominant display.
If Germany can't get out their half, can't get out their final third at the minute. They're all really penned in. Nuri Anonymous has got to change something just to get them out of their own half. So it's going to just go in here. It's indirect. Kushkovsky, just a bit too much pace on that from McCabe, and it will go straight out of play for a kick in to Germany.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed with that. A really good opportunity that they're going to want to capitalise on. Tight decision there from Remy Simon, but one that I wouldn't have much to argue about. Ruben Walls could have been quicker in vacating the space. Again, that first ball just doesn't break past Ruben Walls. The court is so expanded, so it's almost unforgivable when that Germany free kick meets a Northern Ireland bumper within a few seconds of being hit. That's better, just to get territory in the half of Northern Ireland. I think that was Scott Hillen's first engagement, 8 minutes in.
That was Scott Hillen's first touch, which just shows how dominant they've been in the opening 8 minutes here. A chance here for Germany. Straight at Ruben Walls. Walls by name, Wall by nature.
Breaks past Marco Rollman, a lot of pace on that ball. Allows Akacio Costa just flick it towards the Northern Ireland goal. And that first substitute has been signalled by Germany.
So, is Marco Rollman going to come out of goal? They're putting the goalkeeper jersey. Well, they put it on Ludwig and then took it off Ludwig. Bit of confusion on the bench as to what's going on.
Lewis Mittag is the player that has left. Thies Otterstetter has come on, the number 11. So Ludwig Leinweber will fill in as the most defensive of the 4 German players. There was clearly a change that needed to occur. Maybe this gives them the impetus and the structure to build in attack. Otterstetter back to Rollman, flicks it out to Akacio Costa, who wasn't quite prepared to receive it. It's actually a very reserved performance since Northern Ireland took that 1-goal advantage. Ethan McKay very conservative in these advancements up the court. But they're just managing this game brilliantly. They don't want to risk a great deal. We've seen teams across the 2025 EPFA Nations Cup, when they do risk it, they can be punished, as we saw with the Republic of Ireland earlier. They will no doubt learn from that mistake, and opposition will as well, as Ethan McCabe takes control on the edge of the box, bypasses Akacio Costa, out to Ruben Walls, nice punch into the Ethan McCabe. That is a brilliant opportunity. Secondary effort from Bartek Kuszkowski, cleared by the German defence. Had Ethan McCabe just found that 20% more power, would have been one of the goals of the tournament.
That was fantastic. I thought he'd let the opportunity go to waste as we head to a water break, because he took a touch, but he got round Costa. Great little flick between the walls of Ruben Walls, who then fired the 180. And McCabe, I think he's gone for placement over power right in that corner. You have to say it's a smart stop by Ludwig Leinweber. And Kuszkowski just tried to get on the rebound off a Rollman for a corner, which will take place after this water break. Germany, what do you say? They need to get some instructions on board. Nuri Onamis, the head coach, has got to try and make some tactical adjustments, because again, they're struggling to just have any sort of leverage in this game so far. It's been all Northern Ireland.
It has, I don't disagree, but in terms of the defensive shape and organisation, Germany have improved. They've settled as the game's gone on, but that's relatively speaking, of course. But I think that's more down to Northern Ireland not committing players forward. They're not overly eager to get that second goal. They're happy for things to play out and the openings to arise rather than forcing it, which may play into Germany's hands.
I think the plan was to put Marco Rollman in a white shirt and put Ludwig Leinweber in the goalie jersey, but they did not have a white shirt available for Marco Rollman on the bench. We've just seen handed over. Yeah,
I suspect that will be something we see in the second half, as Ruben Walls lines up to take their ball specialist into Ethan McCabe, lets it run across his chair into Bartek Kuszkowski. The deft touch by all 3 attacking players. That is a sensational finish. The initial delivery from Ruben Walls, the beautiful cushioned pass from Ethan McCabe, and Bartek Kuszkowski registers his second goal of the competition.
We've seen a plethora of set-piece goals this tournament so far. That is right up there with the very best. The initial delivery from Ruben Walls has got pace and accuracy. Ethan McCabe just slows his 180 spin down to just deftly play it into the corner. And Kuszkowski, from a very tight angle, has got round it and just almost bent it into that far corner. Brilliant, brilliant second goal for Northern Ireland. And no less than they've deserved, really, for all their dominance. Germany have got to try and get some passing going here. As Costa brings them forward, it'll roll out and play for a kick in to Northern Ireland. Just wonder what the coaching staff will choose to do.
It's the perfect example for other nations to look at. If you can get an initial set piece taker to be so clinical, so accurate, so precise, it opens up a world of possibilities. England scored several earlier, and all of them came from that initial John Balding ball. Secondary receiver is there to capitalise, either to go for goal themselves or feed it to another attacker. And Northern Ireland will take a lot of pleasure out of that goal. There's a Cassio Cossa, too aggressive there in pursuit of possession. That's his second contact foul of the game. I very much suspect any following infringements of the laws will result in a yellow card. Otto Stetter with a rare touch since his introduction. It's a Cassio Costa desperately trying to bypass Ethan McCabe, who's quietly doing a brilliant job, as is always the case in power chair football. Headlines can have a tendency to go to the attackers, the goal scorers, the assist providers. But it's players like him and Scott Hillen providing that foundation at the back, which is why they're so successful. As Krzyzkowski is going to have a chance at goal, slightly forced. Potentially an option of McCabe or Walls would have been better. But they've got a 2-goal cushion. They can experiment, they can try. Because Germany have to bring the game to them now, which I said would lead to openings and opportunities.
Free kick for Northern Ireland. Otto Stetter not 5 metres away. Again, we've seen discipline play a key role here for Germany, or lack of it thereof. McCabe, Walls, great ball across. Krzyzkowski just went for the 180. A brilliant ball in that was.
Yeah, he almost rotated the wrong way, didn't he? Had he clockwise struck that, would have been almost a certain third goal. Ruben Walls, maybe a replica of the earlier goal. This time Ethan McCabe engages it. Ruben Walls manages to keep it live in the box. But Germany really struggling to deal with it. Everything stems from the initial accuracy from Ruben Walls.
Brilliant delivery. Germany are giving Northern Ireland far too much space from corners. They're choosing to set up like Denmark do, with their middle player in reverse in the middle of the box, but that means that your wing on the edge of the box has got to drop straight away. Much easier for the middle player of the opposing team to have space to either get a shot off or find a pass. And Ethan McCabe has already found the assist once, as that is a brilliant ball from Krzyzkowski, and Ruben Walls finds the bottom corner. He has got his second of the game. Northern Ireland's third. Brilliant 180 pass from Krzyzkowski right to Walls. He had a choice of corners to put it in, and he put it in a far one with a plum.
Absolutely, he did. That goal belongs to Krzyzkowski. The assist was brilliant. Ruben Walls there to capitalise. And 18 minutes in, Germany trail Northern Ireland by 3-0. A ruthless, clinical performance from Northern Ireland, who have truly announced themselves in this competition. Substitute for Germany. With Daniel Olek coming on for the first time this game. The same for EPFA Onanmis. So a real switch up. I wonder whether Northern Ireland will look to their bench, having this 3-goal cushion maybe in the second half. They've got 3 options should they wish to use them. Patrick Comiskey, Kyle Forster and Sean McKinney. But we've got a minute plus a few additional minutes left of this first half. Can Northern Ireland inflict further damage? Such a brilliant communicator, Ruben Walls. Just commanding his teammates about as it goes into Kuszkowski. Doesn't quite have the power to trouble Marco Roman. Would have loved to have seen FA Onanmis just try and vacate that space quicker and let it go out for a Germany ball. The gap was nearly there. Power, precision and accuracy. Ethan McCabe just playing it off. FA Onanmis falls to Daniel Olek. Starting to get very condensed on the edge of that Germany box. Whether or not it was a 2-on-1, not overly sure, but an indirect free kick, the decision nonetheless. Ethan McCabe to take into Ruben Walls. Over to Kuszkowski. It's better defence from Germany. Restricting the options of Ruben Walls is the answer because he's so clinical. He finds the gaps in and amongst that defence. If you can nullify his threat, they will have more success.
Exactly that. I think that's the key. Because, right, I mean, if we had a possession and a territory heat map, it would be all, the percentage would all be in the Germany half. I mean, this is what, Scott Hillen's second touch of the game? And it'll be a goal kick. You've got it at half time. Germany have got to just go for it. Start play, just take risks. So you're 3-0 down. Yes, goal difference can make a difference, but start spraying some passes together.
Now into proper additional time. Fakan Onanmis doesn't make contact. Ethan McCabe, pressured by Daniel Olek. Still fantastic support from the German fans on the far side.
Oh, Daniel Olek really did not agree with that decision from the referee. Felt there was never contact foul there. Free kick to Northern Ireland. Nonetheless, must think Northern Ireland will ring the change in the second half. I mean, Scotland has had nothing to do in this first half. A dominant display by the Northern Irish. It is they who lead 3-0 at half time.
Yeah, please disregard that graphic. Northern Ireland take a commanding 3-0 lead into the break. And what a half it has been. 2 goals from Ruben Walls. The first a brilliantly struck set piece. The second a composed finish from outside, an outstanding assist by Bartek Kuszkowski. The young stars have lit up this game. Kuszkowski himself was on the score sheet too, converting another perfectly delivered set piece. set-piece routine. It's been a display of discipline, organisation and ruthlessness. And we are excited to see what they can do in the second half. Germany, meanwhile, are still finding their feet at this level. They've experimented with different setups and rotated players, but it's given Northern Ireland space to exploit. There have been some positive passages of play, especially in possession, but they'll need to find greater fluency and belief in the final third if they're to mount a response. Join us for the second half shortly. Hello everyone and welcome back to the 2025 EPFA Nations Cup here in Lignano Sabbiadoro, Italy, on the outskirts of Venice. Beautiful part of the world and the perfect place to host the third iteration of the Power Chair Football European Championships. We'll soon be back underway, and what a story we've had in the first half. Northern Ireland, almost the underdogs coming into this competition, lead Germany by 3-0 at the break. 2 goals from Ruben Walls and 1 from Bartek Krzyzkowski. The challenge now is very different. Protecting a lead is a new test for this group, and they'll need to keep their concentration, stay compact and continue to take their chances when they come. If they can manage that, Northern Ireland could be on course for a historic result. For Germany, this is about character. Their first game was tough against Belgium. The first half here has been even more punishing. Can they find fluency in attack, be braver in the final third, and find a way to unlock that Northern Irish defence? Michael Hilland has looked to his bench at the break. An international debut, certainly at a major competition for young Carl Forster, and Patrick Kamiski, who was arguably the standout for the nation in the 2023 World Cup, also features being brought on in the centre. So the lineups in their entirety: Scott Hilland, Patrick Kamiski, Carl Forster and Ruben Walls. And for Germany, Akasio Kosa, Marco Roman, Efe Kanonanmis and Daniel Olek. Kamiski involved early into Ruben Walls, pushed over to Carl Forster, attempts the effort, cleared by Marco Roman, picking up where they left off in that first half. Expect the crowd to erupt if Carl Forster manages to find the net. Kamiski, the closest option. Through the gap, over to Carl Forster, and as suspected, the crowd go wild. A fantastic moment for him and his family. He switched allegiance from English to Northern Ireland, and that is why, making it count on the biggest of stage. Northern Ireland 4, Germany 0.
Oh, what a moment for him and his family. Really, really well worked set piece. The ball straight down in the gap. He couldn't have wished for an easier chance. That'll settle his nerves really nicely. What a way to make your international debut at a major tournament.
Once again, we need to highlight the role in which Ruben Walls played in that passage of play. His accuracy on dead balls has arguably been the best in the competition thus far. We've watched every game, Greg, so we're the perfect people to reference who's done what well. No one has done this, and we're referencing players far beyond the years of Ruben Walls. Has an opportunity here to register yet another assist. Pat Kamiski is an option. Carl Forster hugging that right-hand post. It goes through to him. He's going to get a quick-fire brace. Moment's hesitation from Remy Simon as to whether the goal would be allowed or not, but it will. Carl Forster has registered a brace, 2 goals in as many minutes, and once again, a Ruben Walls assist.
This is Carl Forster's lucky day. He needs to go out and tell his parents to get a lottery ticket. 2 of the easiest goals you are ever likely to want on your major tournament debut, courtesy of the bumper of Ruben Walls. Question marks have to be raised defensively for Germany. You fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Can't concede so quickly another goal like that.
I said that they could be on course for a historic result. It will certainly be that. this their most dominant performance on the international stage, and they are fantastic value for it. They have not put a single foot wrong within this one, and the more corners they are awarded, the more threat they will have. Cole Forster is waiting for his hat-trick at the back post.
They've switched it up now. They've learned.
As they should, but now Pat Comiskey is a real danger in the box. Will we see him find success? A rare mishit for Ruben Walls. It's relatively speaking, of course. Everyone's allowed a mishit or two, but when you exhibit such high levels of accuracy time and time again, it's almost a shock when it doesn't meet the bumper of a Northern Ireland chair.
Carl Forster's chair's just turned off and won't turn back on.
That's really unfortunate if his game is halted as a result of a chair fault. Introduced just 4 minutes ago. Scored his first after 22 minutes. His second after 23. And I really hope that can be addressed immediately and we don't have to see him come off after making such a bright debut.
I think possibly the wire that plugs in from the controller to the battery that sits just underneath the armrest on the right hand side may have come unplugged due to a seatbelt. Yep, can see the chair lighting up.
I hope that means that he is good to go. A sigh of relief for him and his family. And we are back underway. Akasio Kosa with the kick in on the far side. Into Daniel Olek. I was going to say, having seen Germany line up for the second, that certainly referencing what I know and what I've seen of Germany, I would regard this as their strongest starting four. But it's the first time we've seen them as a combination, and it was almost a real baptism of fire with those two early goals. Strong play from Forster. Into Akasio Kosa. Good pick off from Daniel Olek. Starting to get some better combinations, but they need to be singing off the same song sheet, otherwise Ruben Walls will capitalise, will dispossess, and he's just forced the ball into the box. Daniel Olek positions his chair behind Ruben Walls so sensibly. It's not necessarily pretty, but it's effective and completely halts that Northern Ireland attack.
Yeah, it took one for the team there, Daniel Olek. Knew what was going on, just parked behind Ruben Walls. Won his team the free kick. Wonder what point we may see Sean McKinney come on, because Scott Hilland has had nothing to do, and I appreciate he is the experienced voice in what is a young squad, but surely at 5-0 up you accept that this game is won and give Sean McKinney some game time?
Yeah, I suspect that will be the case at some point, maybe around the water break, which will be observed at the 30-minute mark. Rollman into Efekan Onanmis, just fired off the front of his chair, which puts it nicely into the path of Kyle Forster. I did actually think that came off the front of Forster's chair. Either way, Northern Ireland do have a kick in once again. The dead ball specialist has responsibility. Can he find that gap? Pushes it to Comiskey. Ruben Walls into Carl Forster. That's going to be his hat-trick. Brilliantly cleared off the line by Akasio Kosa. The routines are there. The execution just missing on that occasion. It's brilliant football. And they're almost exceeding all expectations. England were the dubbed set-piece specialists. earlier today. I think Northern Ireland owed that title now. So proficient, so clinical.
He's orchestrated that really well, Ruben Walls. Called Comiskey closer. Said play the front bumper. Lovely 1-2. The 180 ball across is absolutely inch perfect. And I think Carl Forster will forgive me for saying he should do a lot better with the finish. He's got half the goal to aim at. It's a little bit of a P-roller.
I think we can forgive him one or two.
Yes.
But maybe we know what we're talking about, Greg. We did highlight Ruben Walls as our player to watch in this competition. We've had a little taste as to his quality, but I have to say this is a level that exceeds anything I've seen up until now. He's obviously continued to work hard and develop at home in Northern Ireland, and he does not look out of place with Europe's elite.
That's the next stage of his development I'd like to see. The ball went back from Comiskey to Forster. Brilliant 180 to keep the ball in and fire it. Walls was just a little bit too far over on this near side. Had to realise that the angle for Forster was more towards the edge of the box where the ball went. If he's there straight away, he can get the shot off and score. Because he had to go forward, he couldn't get the momentum.
Unfortunate there for Carl Forster. Comiskey's going to follow it up with a front bumper pick-off. Falls kindly to Ruben Walsh, just cushions it goal bound. Didn't trouble Marco Rollman. We did observe a change just prior to that opportunity. Feli Fisher, the number 7, has come on in place of F.A. Keanu Nanmes. And we will get a moment's breather here at the water break. A historic performance from Northern Ireland, who lead Germany by 5-0.
Just look at the faces on that Germany. They are despondent. They don't know what to do. They're shell shocked. They just seem devoid of ideas. They need something. They need something to take from today. They've had 2 games where it's been disappointing, but they need something to just G them up at the end to give them that belief going into the next 2 games.
Yeah, let's run through the full schedule. Of course, following this, we have Italy versus England, the final game of day 2 tomorrow. A jam-packed schedule. Scotland versus Ireland to kick things off. Belgium versus Spain. Denmark versus England. Germany next up against world champions France. Ireland versus Italy before another highlight of ours, Northern Ireland versus Belgium.
God, Northern Ireland take this form into that game. They are flying. That is going to be one heck of a game. And they've got another corner. Another chance for Ruben Walls to work his set-piece magic.
Just trying to work out. He scored the first goal and the third goal. Ethan McCabe assisted the second. So Ruben Walls has 2 goals and 2 assists to his name.
I'd like to see now that Cossa is sitting here, Forster come to the start at the edge of the box.
Let's see what he does. He is hugging that post at present. And that answers a question that was raised earlier, Greg, about that routine, that short 1-2 play between the nearest receiver. It's obviously something that they've been working on. It doesn't necessarily come off on that occasion, but they've obviously got a whole host of set-piece routines in their arsenal, and they're trying to utilise them all here.
Yeah, now they've swapped. I'd like to see Forster come to the edge of the box, Comiskey sit there. They can dummy it through to the far post if they want to, or front bumper it in the gap if needs be. We are going to see that substitution we talked about earlier happening after this kick-in. Sean McKinney coming on for Scott Hilland. Ruben Walls straight off Rollman. Then Oleg can keep the ball in. And he gets past Comiskey. And a bit of defending here today for Scott Hilland.
Yeah, rare involvement for the captain. Falls to Comiskey, who will relieve pressure if and when Sean McKinney comes on, assuming it's for Scott Hilland, it'll be almost a completely changed team from that started the game and featured for the entirety of that France defeat. Ruben Walls, the only constant, as Carl Forster attempts an effort, eventually fires off his own chair out for a goal kick. And that substitute will take place now. It will be the captain coming off. It's good to see Sean McKinney in action. Another that was part of the squad in Sydney, Australia for the 2023 World Cup.
It's still the Germans making all the noise though. They're a credit to their country.
Absolutely they are. Marco Rollman found Pat Comiskey in. Credit to Daniel Olek. Just trying to chase everything down and restrict those passing lanes. It seems an almost impossible task.
Staggeringly, you feel the question is, will Sean McKinney touch the ball at all?
Over to Ruben Walls, patient in letting it run across his chair. Tried to engage it, but at that point, it just went too far over into that top left-hand corner.
Ryan, where do you go from here for Germany?
It's certainly been a difficult opening day for them in the EPFA Nations Cup. It's hard, isn't it? Because the game in which you would have said they were most likely to get points from will be Spain, who they are of course yet to play. But at the point in which they'll face them, they'll likely be on the back of 3 consecutive defeats. I don't want to assume France will win, but you ask 99 people, and 99 people will predict the world champions to be victorious. So if you're going into your 4th and final game with no points, currently no goals, it's very difficult. But that's what makes this so intriguing. Ruben Walls into Comiskey, cushioned over to Carl Forster, didn't quite get the angle, not quite sure whether he was going for goal or looking to return the favour to Ruben Walls. Either way, better defensive work from Germany. So whilst if Germany do fall short of one of those semi-final placements, which will be all but confirmed if they fall to defeat here, that 3rd and 4th placement is where they'll want to be. They won't want to finish 5th in Group A. 3rd and 4th go into a series of playoff games with one available ticket at the end. Ruben Walls has found the gap. Acacio Costas switched off for little more than a second, but Ruben Walls was so near to capitalising and register his hat-trick. Carl Forster and Ruben Walls looking to cap this game with 3 goals. They've got 3.5 minutes plus additional time to do so.
Nearly found the gap, but I'll settle for the corner. Again, Carl Forster choosing to sit on that post, and it works when Costa's going out to claim the ball rather than block. Comiskey all the way round. Forster to Comiskey.
It's a tight one, but they're all so eager to get on the score sheet. You can understand them all gravitating towards that defensive box of Germany. One thing I do want to highlight is how brilliant the officiating has been across the entirety of this competition, letting the football shine.
Kick in for Germany. Castro Costa will take it.
Into Daniel Olek. Quickly pounced on by Ruben Walls.
What you would say is Northern Ireland know where Germany are. 6 years ago in Finland, it was them who was on the receiving end of some heavy defeats. We're talking 15-16 against England and France. But they showed character, they developed, they've obviously worked so hard in the time being. We saw them perform above expectations in Sydney, Australia. Played really well, put their name on the map as a team that can come back into an EPFA Nations Cup and cannot be underestimated. And look at them now, they're playing some glorious football. So Germany need to take heart. This is only their first major tournament. It's going to be tough. You've just got to use it as the lessons.
Keep an eye on Carl Forster here. He's found his hat-trick. That's absolutely brilliant. Another well-worked set piece. Another brilliant assist from Ruben Walls. And Carl Forster, marking his debut on the major international stage, has a hat-trick. Germany 0. Northern Ireland 6.
Wow. That's all I can say. That is executed so well. Ball down the line for Comiskey, perfectly weighted. The cross from Ruben Walls. It's just what he does at this point. It's accurate, it's fast. And Carl Forster just buries it between the two Germany defenders. Question marks again, possibly about the defensive setup. But for Northern Ireland, they've been ruthless, clinical. Carl Forster has a 19-minute hat-trick. Ruben Walls has got another assist. This Northern Ireland team is so exciting now, and the potential is just staggering to think about.
Carl Forster won't mind me saying this, but I've coached him on the Regional Emergent Talent Programme in England, and he was presented with a real dilemma whether to pursue opportunities through the England pathway or look to follow the heritage of his mum and represent Northern Ireland. It wasn't a decision he made lightly, put a lot of thought into it, but you're seeing what that decision has done for him and his football. And if I had said to him 2 or 3 years ago you would be scoring a hat-trick on the biggest of stage, he probably wouldn't have believed it. But he showed why that decision to switch allegiance has proved life-changing for him and his family, and I'm so happy for him. Once again, need we mention the assist, the connection. It's a cohesive unit. We even saw that in that 5-1 defeat to France. I have very little to fault in this Northern Ireland squad, and they've really put themselves in a fantastic position to fight for that second semi-final placement if we assume France have already got it locked up. This is going to be a very late opportunity. Surely it can't be 7.
Is it the turn of Forster to Walls?
I hope so. Carl Forster into Ruben Walls. He deserves a hat-trick himself, just wide of the left-hand post. It has been a joy to watch. It has been a pleasure to commentate, and it just gets me excited for that crunch game against Belgium tomorrow.
We've got a lot of football between now and then, but you can look forward to that being an electric fixture.
A truly unbelievable performance from Northern Ireland, who record a stunning 6-0 victory over Germany. Their first win at this Nations Cup, and one that will live long in the memory. Ruben Walls at the heart of everything. Not only did he score twice himself, but he turned provider on 3 occasions, delivering pinpoint assists to Carl Forster, who struck 3 times. Adding Bartek Kuszkowski's first half goal, this was a complete display and something Northern Ireland could only have dreamed of just a couple of years ago. From the first whistle, they were organised, disciplined and clinical. Their young players stepped up magnificently, with Walls dictating the game and Forster seizing his moments in spectacular fashion. Germany, meanwhile, will need to regroup quickly. This is their first major competition, and these early setbacks will be tough lessons. They showed some neat passages of play, but overall, they'll have to go back to the drawing board. But just to go back to something you said, Northern Ireland were in this position 5 or 6 years ago. It's where they go away from this top stage and how they develop within their own respective nations, away from the spotlight. There's still football to be played. There's still a crunch game against Spain and France, and we will see what they do. I'm going to pass over to Piero Longo for an interview with Scott Hilland.
A bit closer. And here we are again with Mr. Scott Hilland from Northern Ireland, the captain. I see you with a different face today. What happened?
Well, we responded from last night's defeat with a good win against a good Germany side. We showed our quality on the ball and we scored some good goals, so we're very happy.
Yeah. There was a different game. It was tight. I think Germany defended themselves quite good, but then you just crushed in and you did it. You scored 6.
Yeah, well, we knew sort of the way they'd set up and how we wanted to look on the ball, and I think we did that. But as you say, it was tight in moments, and they're a good team, and they're showing great development, so I'm sure they'll be better for that experience.
Great. Now that you have this boost of energy, I'm pretty sure you will be fully ready for the next matches. What are you looking forward?
Just one game at a time, try and get a positive result, and then we'll see where that takes us at the end of the group phase.
Cool. Thanks very much, Scott.
Thank you.
Have a great one. Take a good rest and good luck for the next games.
Ciao.
Thank you. Ciao. Is someone for us? Yes. Please come in. And we have, I think, Dalil, right? Yes. Please come closer. Mr. Dalil Oleg, number 55 from the German team.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Glad to have you here. So, very tough match today.
Yes.
How do you think? How do you feel?
I think we played a bit afraid, and we didn't play so well. And it's a lesson we have to learn from this game. Yeah, and next time we come back stronger.
Yeah, Northern Ireland wanted some revenge from yesterday, so they were really ready for this. It must be very intense and stressful because that's a big event, but there's a long way, and you guys can, learn from this other experience. What do you think you guys can work on or improve for the next games?
We have to pass more, and we just don't have to be scared of the opponents, because I think we are too passive. We have to be more active and take the control of the game, and then we can win. I'm looking forward to play against France and also Spain. Yeah.
Great. Another great experience that you will bring with you. I wish you all the best for the next ones. And also for you, take a good rest because you guys must be super tired.
Yes, really.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks to our Daniel, Oleg, and guys, 5th game. I'll see you very soon to the final one. See ya.